Let's start with the truth. Not the one they taught you, but the one the world has been trying to show you all along. Kindness on its own is not a strength. In a perfect world, kindness would be currency. In a perfect world, empathy would always be reciprocated. In a perfect world, doing good would protect you from harm. But this world? This is not that world. This is a world that chews up the soft-hearted, glorifies the cunning, and forgets the ones who play by the rules. You think you're being kind. You think you're doing the right thing. But the people around you, many of them don't see kindness. They see opportunity, an opportunity to take, to manipulate, to walk away clean while you're left wondering what went wrong. Ask yourself, how many times have you given more than you should have? How many times have you explained yourself when you didn't need to? How many times have you helped someone only to realize they never saw you as equal, just useful? That's not nobility. That's conditioning. Conditioning to believe that your worth is tied to what you give, to how little you ask for, to how often you stay silent when you should have spoken. And it's not your fault. You were raised to be nice, to share, to please, to avoid conflict, to believe that the world will eventually reward the good-hearted. But let's be honest, when has it ever worked out that way? When has the world stopped to thank the quiet one in the background? When has society prioritized sincerity over performance? When has justice come without being demanded? This is not about abandoning kindness. This is about awakening. Enter Machiavelli, the strategist, the realist, the one who said what no one else dared. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Now, that doesn't mean you should become cruel, but it does mean you should stop expecting the world to reward you for being kind. Because it won't. What it does reward is power, perception, and the ability to walk into a room and not need to be liked to be respected. You don't lose power when you stop being liked. You lose power when people can read you too easily. When your generosity becomes predictable, when your silence becomes weakness, when your yes means nothing because you never say no. That's not kindness, that's emotional exposure. Let's redefine what it means to be kind. True kindness is intentional. It's not blind. It's not automatic. It's not endlessly available. It asks, does this person respect me? Do they deserve access to my time? Is this kindness going to build something, or will it only break me? The old version of kindness was about self-sacrifice. The new version is about self-mastery. Control. Let's talk about it. The loudest person in the room isn't the most powerful. They're usually the most insecure. Real control is subtle. It's in the person who doesn't react, who listens without revealing, who speaks rarely but with impact. And when you pair that with kindness, something incredible happens. You become untouchable, because now your kindness isn't a weakness, it's a choice. And people feel that. You start setting boundaries. You walk away without guilt. You say no and mean it. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening anyway. That's when the shift happens. Suddenly, the same people who used to ignore you pay attention. The ones who underestimated you become cautious. And the ones who tried to control you get frustrated because they've lost their grip. Why? Because you finally learned the art of perception management. Perception isn't about being fake, it's about being deliberate. It's knowing how to be seen, what to reveal, what to withhold, and how to make people feel your presence, even when you're not speaking. It's mastering your image, instead of letting people write the story for you. That's the power most people give away without even realizing it. Let's go deeper. There's something else Machiavelli taught, something darker, but necessary. A prince must know how to conceal his intentions. Why? Because when people know your next move, they start controlling it. When you're too predictable, you become a puppet. When you give too much, you become dispensable. Learn to pause, to say less, to sit with your discomfort instead of trying to fix everyone else's. Learn to make people earn your energy, not assume it. You were not born to be endlessly available. And now, perhaps the most powerful idea of all. Emotional control is your fortress. The moment you let anger drive your actions, you've been conquered. The moment you let guilt dictate your choices, you've been redirected. The moment you start reacting instead of responding, you've lost the game. Stillness is power. Silence is leverage. Restraint is your most dangerous edge. The person who keeps their calm in chaos becomes the one everyone follows. So here's what you do. Start moving in silence. Start holding more than you share. Start withdrawing from situations that don't align with your self-respect. And start reimagining what it means to be kind. Because real kindness, the kind that lasts, is built on intelligence, not impulse. On boundaries, not blind generosity. On strategy, not self-erasure. Let them think you've changed. Let them wonder why your silence suddenly feels sharp. Let them question why your presence feels heavier. Because it should. That's what happens when a kind person finally learns how to protect themselves. And now that you know, there's no turning back. Power is in the silence. Write it. Remember it, and live like someone who knows what it really means to be good, in a world that doesn't care unless you make it.